in my quest to figure out why these gas prices are so high, because the gas prices are not just the ones that affect our immediate purse strings, but they raise the cost of everything requiring fuel to move. School buses, police cars, uh, you name it, public transportation, planes, trains, and automobiles. And so I started looking at the 1970 fuel crisis. And in the 1970s, the fuel crisis was largely created by shortages of fuel. So when the fuel becomes not so abundant, the demand for that fuel based on the actual supply in a shortage situation causes prices to rise. And as a result of the 1970 fuel crisis, not only was the United States coming out of the Vietnam era, but they had also engaged themselves allying with Israel. For a 19-day period, the amount of expenses to the U.S. people for their engagement with Israel and the lives lost really needs a little second look. So they call that war Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur, and they also call it the Ramadan. Well, I specifically remember, oddly, so that war took place in 1973, and I specifically remember in 1983 stopping at a Ramada Inn with a couple of my friends, and one of my friends, his name is Angus. I haven't seen him since 1983 because, well, I've been stuck in Livingston County, New York for the majority of my life, so they could harass, target, and abuse me and my kids, all on some fun stuff. I'm sure they got a lot of funding as a result of what they were doing. But going back to 1973 and 1983, so I haven't seen Angus in 40 fucking years, okay? We're coming up on the 50-year anniversary of that little war that took place, the 19-day holy war with Israel, where the United States allied with Israel because, well, the United States government thinks they're God and that anything holy shall be preserved by God. Okay, so that's why they get involved in shit that's really none of their fucking business. And I specifically remember the 1983 with Angus. We were in the city, let's just say, and he randomly stopped at a Ramada Inn. And I had to go to the bathroom, so I was like, can I go in with you? And so me and him went into this Ramada Inn, and he pointed to where the bathrooms were. And I went to the bathroom and I came back out and I'm looking for him. And I see him standing at the counter of this Ramada Inn, like he's gonna, get a room for the night. And we were not like, boyfriend and girlfriend, we were friends. My boyfriend was in the car with his girlfriend waiting for us. And so I go up to the counter to stand next to him, and he gets in front of the customer service representative, and he said, they asked him if he wanted a room, and he said, no, I just have a question. And they said, okay. And he said, did you get yourselves in before or after the war? And the guy said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And he goes, did you get yourself in before or after the war? And the guy still acted like he didn't know what he was talking about. So Angus took one of their brochures that said Ramada, and he put an N on the end of it. And he held it up, and he said, did you get yourselves in before or after the war? And the guy said, before. And these people came up behind him, and he got arrested that night just by asking this question. And I remember them laying him down on the carpet and him, like kicking his wallet and his keys at me. Ramada Inn. Ramada Inn was created in 1953. The war with, the Ramadan War, where the United States allied with Israel, that was 1973. I'm talking about me and Angus in 1983. And here we are coming up on the 50-year anniversary of this Ramadan holy war that lasted 19 days. But the fallout out of that war was like a huge cost on both sides. So when we're talking costs, prices of gas, somewhere somebody needs to start knocking heads with people that make these decisions, that engage in pathetic, petty bullshit. Because you can't have laws that say you don't discriminate against people based on religion and then hold yourself out there as God and then jump in to save holy spots. Okay? Like, I think we're all past this, God bullshit at this point. We're so past it. Like me, myself, I don't want to hear no Jesus bullshit. I certainly don't want to hear it. That's such a worn out record machine. Nobody wants to hear that stuff anymore. Nobody wants to pay or even engage in the thought process of religion or churches. I don't. I talk to people. Nobody believes in God. It's how you force people to live in this world while you're still calling out and saying, this is the land of the free. Well, that free for the taking bullshit has been gone, and we passed all those stages. And it's not free here. It's extremely costly to live in the United States. And I, for one, I'm tired of working for nothing. And I've worked my whole life, and I have now nothing to show for it because of those, live Van Stan County people that sought out to destroy me and my children. Like, talk about a fucking prison. Living in that fucking community was the biggest prison. Your fuel prices are an indication of shortages. And those shortages will eventually lead us into war. And one of these times when the United States sticks their fucking nose into places where it doesn't belong, the theater of war will end up on your doorsteps. So wake up.